This video is presented by the EA Creator Network. I have received some of the Sims 4 packs for free. Thank you to the EA Creator Network. Hello everyone, JSimLady here. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I am kind of excited but weirdly a little embarrassed to share this one. So if you saw my somewhat recent small house build that I did not that long ago actually, it was actually only about a month ago on October 16th. And it's a little greenhouse. It's called Small Base Game Only No CC Sims 4 House a Speed Build. And when this one is done, you'll be like, how is this the same house as that? Trust me, it's basically the same house. I just make some minor adjustments, but because I decorate them vastly differently, they look really different. I didn't want to use that base game version one in my save file, but I really loved that house. And in that video, I talk about how I came up with the inspiration for that house. It's like a 1940s, 1950s small 2-bedroom single-story house. It's almost like a prefab type house, but not really. It's just a little box. There were literally thousands upon hundreds of thousands of these little box houses going up post World War II, and I am obsessed with them. I love those little tiny box houses from the post World War II era. There's so much you can do with them, and you don't have to do major renovations. I think people just get stuck in this mindset of these little box houses are garbage and they can't look good because it's just a giant square, but that's not true. I vehemently disagree with that mindset. Anyways, I loved that house so much. I got the inspiration from a YouTube series that I've been watching. She's taking this little old house and bringing it back to life, and she's doing it so beautifully. She's doing such a good job on it. I love watching it every Sunday when she posts a video. There were just a couple of things about the house that I would change if it were me renovating it, which it would never be me renovating it because I would never be able to do what she's doing. She's just so awesome at this stuff. But if it were me and I was capable of renovating a house, there are just a few minor things that I would do differently from what she was doing. And so that's really why I made that video with that house. And then when I was done, I loved it so much that I wanted to create another similar version to it for my save file, and that's how this house was born. There are some ways in which the setup of this house is almost identical. The location and I believe the size of the bathroom, the size of the front bedroom, the size of the back bedroom, and the way the living room and dining room are set up are all identical to the other build that I did. The only thing that I somehow managed to change the size of, I think, and yet still didn't really change much, was the kitchen. But also I moved the closets off to the side because I wanted to have more space on the smaller lot. So in order to do that, I kind of had no choice but to move the closets off to the side. That was the one major change that I really did, was just to move the closets off to the side there. But I kind of like this even better. In real life, you probably wouldn't bother moving the closets off to the side and giving the bedrooms a foot more room each because it would not be worth it cost-wise. But this is The Sims, and I didn't need to worry about that, so I did it. But yes, I was so madly in love with it. I had to recreate another version of it for the save file. This one I did in, I believe, a fairly different decorating style. So it's different from the one I did in October, but the same. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's December now, isn't it? It's been over a month since I did that one. It's almost been a month and a half now. But, anyways, yeah, so the idea is this is one of those little 1940s, 1950s box houses. It's not particularly like architecturally advanced from the outside, but inside it's a cozy little family home, and it's perfect for a smaller family of like maybe 3 or 4 Sims maximum. Oh, there is one other thing that I did on this one that I didn't do on the first one, and that was I actually made the basement so that you could add rooms into it later if you wanted to. I put window wells in the basement this time so that there was some natural light coming in from outside into the basement. And so I put 3 of them down there. So it's really easy to just separate that space and make, more bedrooms or a family room or whatever down in the basement that you want or need in the future. But the house is usable just like this, too. So the family I had, honestly, it's not even a 3-person family. When I started decorating this, I actually, in my mind for some reason, I had a single parent and an infant or toddler in here, not a full-fledged family. I only put enough space for 3 Sims to sleep, and for whatever reason, the family that kept coming to mind was a single mother or father and their infant or toddler son. So that was kind of what I was basing my decorations and style and stuff on, was that idea of a family. I don't know if that's weird or not. It's definitely a house that can be used by up to 4 Sims for sure. So you could have 2 parents here if you wanted. I just, for whatever reason, when I started decorating, the family that came to mind was a single parent and a toddler or infant. So, yeah, not as extensive of a story for this family as some of my more recent builds, but a lot of what I did in this house, I just did based on what I like. If I had an infinite number of houses and whatever to decorate, I would pick these styles. You know, most of my houses are things that I would pick in real life if I had an infinite number of houses to decorate, type of deal. And yeah, I mean, I guess I always put a little bit of myself in each of them. So maybe the real story behind this house is it's me from a different life. Possibly. I mean, if I'm being completely open and honest with you, that kind of feels like what it is. I decorated and built this for me in a different life, in a different universe, on a different world. This would be my ideal house. In the end, I do go back and decide I would like them to have a pet, probably a cat, because the yard is very small. And so I do go in the end and add some cat stuff to the house. It's a little bit awkward, and it was added in at the last minute, so it looks a little bit awkward. But I mean, are houses ever really truly set up for pets? You just kind of have to fit their stuff in where you can find a place anyways. So to me, it's very realistic, but you'll see in a minute. Here's the one and only bathroom, but again, there's more space in the basement, lots more space. I think we'll see it here in a minute, or did we already see it? I don't remember, but the basement is huge. It's the size of the entire house. There's plenty of room down there for a bathroom and a couple more bedrooms, or a family room and a bedroom, or whatever you want to use down there. But this house is already roughly between 30 and 36,000 simoleons as is. So I thought I'd leave the basement unrenovated so that you and your Sims can add to it later if and when they need to. So, oh yeah, there's the window wells right there. And that, I am embarrassed to say, took me a lot longer than it looks on screen to figure out how to get those roofs over the window wells. If I'm not mistaken, where I live, because back in the day, a lot of children and animals would fall into these window wells and get injured. I believe there are a lot of towns near me, and including the one I live in, where there is ordinances that you actually have to have the wells covered by something so no one or nothing can fall down into them and get injured, because you're basically falling a full story down. And I know back in the day when I was a kid, that happened several times to small children, especially young toddlers and stuff. They would fall down in those window wells and get injured, seriously injured. And oftentimes people would lose like cats or whatever, and later they would find like the dead cat in the window well. It was really bad and sad. The 80s and 90s were a rough time. There wasn't a whole lot of safety standards back then. So, yeah. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the towns in my area now have ordinances that you have to cover those window wells with something so that no one can fall through. And that's kind of why I'm always like, I need to have that roof, that clear roof piece over the well, the window well, because it's just so natural to see those around here now with people who have basement window wells like that, or at least it should be. I've seen houses where they don't have them, generally older houses that haven't been renovated in like over 40 years. And I don't know if they're grandfathered into the rules or what. But for the most part, if an older house that has those window wells, or a newly built house that has window wells, which you don't see on newly built houses much anymore, if they do have them, the opening to the well is covered. So, lengthy explanation for something that probably didn't require it, but there you have it. Anyways, so yeah, it's just your basic little 2-bedroom house. Nothing fancy, nothing spectacular. Some flowers, some shrubs, a cute little family lives here, you know, the basics, but it is going to be part of my mixed pack save file, and I absolutely adore this little house, and I hope you adore it too, because it's one of my most favorite small houses, like really small houses. And we are just about done with the speed build here, so we can get into the walkthrough right shortly. I kept thinking of things that I wanted to add in after I supposedly was finished, so I kept going back and adding more stuff in. I do eventually stop doing that and and end the speed build part, but yeah, I just couldn't help myself. I just kept finding more and more stuff I wanted to add in. Here's where I add the cat stuff, and that is actually the end of the speed build, so we will actually be able to get into the walkthrough here in just a second. And here we are. This is the front of the house, obviously. We've got the little front garden. Why can't I? There. My mouse was apparently not connected to my game. That was a little bit weird. But anyways, we've got the front porch, little cute front garden area here, a tree. Not much on the porch because it's a very small porch and I didn't want your Sims to get stuck. So here's the living room and dining room space. Very small but cozy in my opinion. Plenty of room for 4 Sims to eat at the table. And technically there's enough room for 4 Sims in the living room, but really, how often is a whole entire 4 Sim family sitting in the living room together anyways, right? So I figure it's fine. If we go straight back here, we have the kitchen. I left plenty of space for your Sims to work without getting stuck, but I added some little decorative elements anyways. And then back here we have the back door, which leads out to the backyard, but there's not much of a yard here, so then we have the basement down there, and I left the stairway open so that you could eventually finish the basement and it looks more a part of the house. Then we have the cute little bathroom here. I decided to go with a soothing green. We've got some built-in storage there, so that's nice. I keep hitting all the wrong buttons, sorry. And then if we go back through the dining room, we have the nursery. So here's that, a cute, soothing, oh my goodness, with all the wrong buttons. Soothing nursery, little toddler closet here. And then if we go back to the front of the house, I cannot put children's bedrooms at the front of the house. I just cannot bring myself to do it. It feels really weird. So this is the primary bedroom for any adults living in the house with their own little closet, lots of storage here. And then I think that's it except the basement. And let's go down and look at that. And here we are in the basement. So we've got the utilities except for a washer and dryer over here. But then we've got this whole huge basement down here. We've got 3 window wells that actually do let light in, believe it or not. It doesn't look like it would, but it really actually does let light in. And you could replace the little windows with the bigger windows and then have these be bedrooms, bathroom, family room. I mean, there's so much space down here. You could practically build a whole other second house down here, honestly. So yeah, there's that. I hope you enjoyed this cute little speed build. I certainly enjoyed making it, and I love having it in my save file. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, especially hitting that like button really helps the YouTube algorithm decide whether or not my videos should be recommended to other people. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.